Hi there. I felt like doing a stir fry this evening, but this time we're not doing your usual fried rice. Instead, we're making lo mein noodles. Here in the USA, not many people make good noodles in a wok, and this may be because of cheap ramen noodle bricks. Those noodles are made from flour, and there's nothing wrong with making a tasty ramen noodle stir fry. But traditional lo mein noodles are egg noodles, and they can easily be bought at most stores at a very low price. So instead of ordering out, we're making lo mein noodles at home, and we're going to try to do it so that it's as good as those lo mein noodles everyone gets with their Chinese takeout.
A good stir-fry does require a lot of preparation in advance because you can't do very much prep work when you're cooking over a blazing hot wok. We start by slicing the chicken into thin strips so they'll cook faster in the wok. In addition, we're using another classic Asian stir-frying technique known as velveting to prepare the meat. Mix in 1 egg white, rice vinegar, cornstarch, and a teaspoon of salt. Mix everything together so the meat is entirely coated in the marinade, and we place the bowl into the refrigerator uncovered and let it marinate while the additional ingredients are being prepared. And now it's time to bring out a huge, heavy cast iron wok. We place the wok into the oven and heat the oven to its highest temperature. This is important so the wok will be hot enough to stir fry. Different cultures have their essential ingredients and they're used in practically every single recipe. In France they have mirepoix, and in Cajun country they have the Holy Trinity. But in Asia the Holy Trinity of aromatics would be ginger, garlic, and green onions. We're also slicing up some baby carrots into long thin pieces, and in France they call this julienne style. Finally, we chop up some mushrooms. And now for the noodles. If you're going to buy dried egg noodles and boil them, you'll usually find flat noodles instead of the round spaghetti-shaped noodles seen in most Chinese restaurant lo mein. Most of those recipes for lo mein noodles say you can't find a package labeled lo mein in Asian markets, but I didn't have any trouble at all finding these in the refrigerated section. We bring a pot of water to a boil, and while the water is heating up, we can prepare the lo mein sauce. If you want an authentic tasting lo mein, you can't skip the oyster sauce and the sesame oil. Here we're using Vietnamese fish sauce, and yes, that's that scary stuff sold in Asian markets that smells like it's been left on the counter for 2 years. Trust me, we only need to use a tiny amount of this stuff, and when used in small amounts, it adds an essential taste to your stir fry. We place the noodles into the water, and they only need to be boiled for about 3 minutes before they're ready. Then we set the cooked noodles aside to be added to the stir fry. And now we're cheating a little by bringing the water back to a boil. This isn't exactly traditional, but this is an important part of the velveting technique. When the water is boiling, we add the marinated chicken to the water and add a little cooking oil. Then we blanch the chicken for only about a minute until it changes color, and then we remove it from the water. And by now the wok is blazing hot and it's ready to give us a stir fry. We spread some oil around the wok and we start with the chicken. And this is why we heated up a heavy cast iron wok. There's no way a thin wok would work on this stove and get the really hot temperature we need to do a stir fry. We got around that because heavy cast iron retains heat and it stays hot enough to sear the chicken and give it a good browning, even though we didn't coat it in cornstarch the way you do with most recipes. And that's why homemade stir fries are different than what you get from a restaurant, because most restaurants blanch their meat in advance. Next, we add the carrots to the wok. It'll only take a couple of minutes to stir fry the carrots because they're also cut into thin strips. Now we add the minced garlic and ginger to the carrots and stir fry them all together.
Alright, at last, we're getting down to it.
And at last, the noodles. At first, the noodles will look like they've stuck together into a big spongy pillow, but a few minutes of stir-frying will separate everything and give the noodles the consistency you'd expect from an Asian restaurant. Add the lo mein sauce and stir everything together until the noodles are completely coated in the sauce. Now we put the chicken back in and stir it all around. Add the chopped mushrooms and stir it all around until the mushrooms are cooked. And finally, we mix in the chopped green onions and fry everything until the green onions are slightly soft. And with that, we are done. It did take a lot longer to make this stir fry than what you'd get in a restaurant, but of course the restaurant did all that prep work in advance. But because we made this in a heavy cast iron wok, the result is an authentic style lo mein stir fry that's as good as any takeout. In fact, it may even be better.
You can certainly use any kind of noodles you want in this stir fry, even your favorite ramen noodle bricks. But it's the quality of the noodles that makes this dish so popular, and that's why lo mein noodles are almost as popular as fried rice. But because we made this in a cast iron wok, this may very well compare to restaurant-style lo mein noodles, and that's certainly worth the effort and something I enjoyed very much. This was a lot of fun to make, and I really hope this inspires you to try some stir frying in your own cast iron pans. Thank you for watching.